Don Lemon of CNN spoke with Donald Trump about his comments on immigration and how the people crossing the border are rapists. Let's watch.
But let's talk about Mexico. And you did mention NBC not being happy. They cut ties with you yesterday, today, because your comments about Mexican immigrants. Another company.
Because they're weak. You know what? They cut ties because they're weak.
Who,
they're
NBC,
weak,
you think?
And it's very sad to see. But that's it. Because I'm talking not about Mexico. I'm talking about illegal immigration. And it has to be stopped down in this country.
Okay.
It's killing our country.
Let's talk about Macy's then.
Done. People are pouring over the borders. Pouring. We have incredible border patrols. These are incredible people, and they're instructed they can't do anything. People are pouring into the United States. I guess some come from Mexico, but they come from all over the world. By the way, they come from the Middle East. We don't even know where they come from.
Why did you have to say that they're rapists, though, Donald?
And it's resonating with the voters.
Why did you have to say they were rapists, though, Donald?
Who's racist?
No, rapists. No, not racist. No, why did you have to say they were rapists?
Oh, well, if you look at the statistics of people coming, I didn't say about Mexico, I say the illegal immigrants. You look at the statistics on rape, on crime, on everything coming in illegally into this country, they're mind-boggling. If you go to Fusion, you will see a story about 80% of the women coming in. I mean, you have to take a look at these stories. And you know who owns Fusion? Univision. And it was in the Huffington Post. I said, let me get some of these articles because I've heard some horrible things. I deal a lot of talking with people on the Border Patrols.
Yeah.
They're incredible people.
I want to get some.
Our country.
I want to get
some.
Clarification.
No, but Don, all you have to do is go to Fusion and pick up the stories on rape, and it's unbelievable when you look at what's going on. So all I'm doing is telling the truth.
I read the Washington Post, I read the Fusion, I read the Huffington Post, and that's about women being raped. It's not about criminals coming across the border or entering the country.
Well, somebody's doing the raping, Don. I mean, you know, somebody's doing the. You're saying it's women being raped. Well, who's doing the raping?
Somebody's got to be doing the raping, Don, and it's obviously all the illegal immigrants that are coming in here. No, but you idiot. Don Lemon read the article. I read the article. The takeaway is exactly the opposite of what you're saying. The article says that the undocumented immigrants coming into the country were raped. They were not the rapists. They were the raped. So they were the victims of a crime. They did not carry out the crime. They were the victims. And they go into more detail and they talk about how it was specifically linked to drug cartels who were involved in essentially the business of getting people north to get to the border to go to get into America. And, you know, it happens from South America through Mexico up until they get into the U.S. So the idea is that the drug gangs, the cartels that are involved in this, that stay there, are the ones who are doing the crimes, and the poor female immigrants are the ones who were raped. Now, you would think that he would understand that and then have sympathy for these people and say, wow, you know, I feel really bad for them because they were trying to create a better life. They were trying to, you know, take part in the American dream. They were trying to get here to work hard to provide for their family and their loved ones. And oh my God, they were raped. What a horrible thing they were going through. How can we help? How can we help? But no, he flips it. It's not the victims who are here. It's the people who carried out the crime. It's the rapists. And oh my God, we need to kick him out. We need to shut down the border and do all this stuff. Hey, here's a question for Donald Trump. Does he have any idea what the root problem is here? The root problem is the drug war. Any expert will tell you that. The problem is, since we have prohibition on drugs, that's the main thing that makes the drug cartels so powerful. That's the main reason why in some South American countries, the violence is actually worse there than it was in Iraq during the height of the Iraq War. That's a hard fact to get your mind around, but it's true. Because we've done prohibition of drugs, because they're not legal, taxed, and regulated, you've made it so that these drug cartels have a monopoly and they get all the money, and now we have narco states south of us. And by the way, nobody should be surprised by this because we saw the same thing happen when it came to alcohol. When we had prohibition of alcohol in America, that's what made the mafia so incredibly powerful. They had a monopoly on selling alcohol in the speakeasies underground, and they made so much money, and then it led to an increase in crime. And who didn't enjoy the NBC cut ties with me because they're weak. That's why they're weak. Or they disagree with you because you said something idiotic and you said something incredibly bigoted and you said something which was, clearly anti-immigrant. And then he also, classic Donald Trump, they're coming from everywhere around the world. They're coming from south of the border. They're coming from all around the world. They're coming from the Middle East. And then he says, quote, "We don't know where they come from." Dude, but you just said all the places that you think they came from. They go, well, we don't know where they come from. Which is it? You don't know where they came from, or they came from all the places you specifically referenced? And he also goes on to say about Macy's, he's like, I can't believe they cut ties too. They're weak. They're not selling my ties anymore. They're fundamentally weak. And then he says like a minute later, he's like, I cut ties with them. They didn't cut ties with me. What is it? Which one is it? Again, he just fucking contradicts himself left and right. And the most depressing part of the story is he's number 2 in the Republican polls right now.